Hi, my name is Jason Fivers, and I am making an official call to our president to fire our health minister and remove the entire Corona Command team slash council. I'd like to make two qualifying statements though. The first one is that yes, there is a SARS-CoV-2 virus. Yes, people do become ill, and there is a small portion of people that will die from this. Secondly, vaccines do work, but protocols must apply and there must be sufficient testing for these vaccines to be administered to the populace. I just wanted to clear that up so that anyone on the other side of this debate can't call me an anti-vaxxer and can't say that I'm biased with anything or I'm a denialist. I know that there's a virus, I know that there's a vaccine that we can get in a long period of time, but there are also a number of concerns that I have about the current situation, and this is why I'm calling on the president to fire our health minister and fire the command council. In South Africa, over the past 10-12 months, we've been subjected to a lot of brutal, inhumane, and irrational policies that have been delivered by our health minister and by the command council. More specifically for this, and for the reason that I've raised this today, is I've had a look at the statistics and I've been following it carefully, and I have a lot of questions to ask about what exactly is going on here, because as a layperson, I'm not an expert, but as a layperson, none of this makes real sense. So we've got a virus, it's been here for a year now, and we are now in what they call our second wave. Now, I don't even know if that description should fit properly, because there's just too many variables that can apply to this for it to be a confirmed second wave. When I say variables, we know that we have a PCR test which is 90% false positives. These are tests that are being shown. So that's, you can't dispute that. If the government want to come and say, Jason, you're spreading false rumors, feel free to arrest me, and then we can go to court, and then all this evidence can be presented, and we can have the court case, and this can be done. People can know what's going on with regards to the PCR tests. But my key question is, and forgive the dinosaur here, but that's South Africa's death rates, and that's our winter peak. Those are per day peaks. So it's gone up and down. That's what we expect in a winter season. My personal opinion is what we'd expect in a pandemic is for that to go a lot higher and then drop down quickly and sort of settle. But this is what I'm worried about here. So it's 2nd of January, we're in the middle of summer, and our daily peaks for death has surpassed our winter and our first wave, or our initial exposure to the virus. Now, that's a great concern to me, because if I just apply common sense to this, when a new virus strikes the world, strikes South Africa, it walks in, we know nothing about the virus. We don't know how to treat it. We don't know who it affects, who the vulnerable are. So it's an unknown variable. It's an unknown quantity. It walks in and it'll do significant damage because we are all basically working in the dark. So I can accept that. That's the tragedy of a new virus or new illness traveling the globe, hitting a country. Where we are now 10 months or so down the line, and we have got not just a local community working on this, there is a global community working on this. So in the old days, trial and error, humans learn from mistakes, and you would build your house next to the river and there would be a massive flood, and you'd move your house further up the embankment and there'd be a massive flood, and you'd move further up, and then as you go, human beings, that's how we've survived. You learn what's right, you learn it wrong, you learn what to eat, what not to eat. We progress. Now, in the old days, that could take a long time, but the global village is small, and there are tens of thousands of people working on this problem. So results and information spreads really, really quickly. My concern is that we have the WHO, who are driving our government's policy. We have a bunch of scientists or panel members on our Corona Command Council who are very connected to the WHO. Our Minister of Health is very connected to the WHO. But the WHO for the whole year has given the most atrocious advice, in my opinion. They double back on everything. They seem to be flip-flopping from one point to another. Yet, our government and everyone seems to follow them. On the other side, there are a group of scientists and experts, and these aren't just random people. The media might try and portray them as random people. These are significant experts, professors, and scientists, top of their game, and they're being shut down systematically for their opinions. What's further troubling is that the opinions that they are giving from all the data available seem to be the ones that are working. We've got our government and the WHO saying X, that doesn't seem to be working. And we've got a number of other people on the other side who are saying, try this. These results are coming in and they're working. And as much as the one side tries to say that the opposing side is wrong, all the evidence finally comes out that these guys actually might have a point. So why are we ignoring them? And that brings me back to this. We've got this here. Didn't know what we're doing. In fact, first death was down here, so it's taken some time. We should have known what we're doing here. We started to get a grip of what's going on. We realized ventilators might not be the answers, high flow oxygen, and the new treatment protocols, the steroids, whatever it might be. I'm not a doctor, this is just what I've read. Right back here, we had a thing called hydroxychloroquine. In South Africa, we only have chloroquine. Right back here, the WHO and the big pharma or the powers that be said bad, and there was an article released which has subsequently been proved to be wrong, but there was an article here saying no. Back here, if we had started administering hydroxychloroquine or chloroquine, that could have been way lower. Speculation, I'm not an expert, but my opinion, that could have been way lower. So now we came here, and at this point here, we know that zinc and vitamin D3 and high flow oxygen and high levels of vitamin C, and there are a number of other drugs, and there's chloroquine, and there's ivermectin. Have I got that right again? There are a number of things here that appear to work incredibly well, and that should stop massive infections if administered in an early phase. So why are we getting this? This is very concerning to me. I'm not doubting that this happens, but it's concerning because I don't think we should have that. If we hear, and this is in where I bring this in, we hear in South Africa 500 billion rand worth of funding to stop this, and 10 months later, and boom, we got that. Now, if I'm working in a company and I'm a shareholder, which all South African citizens are, and my board of directors, I've given them a mandate, and poor performance, coming right, and then a year later, we tank again. As shareholders, I'll call for that board of directors to be sacked and replaced by competent ones, because from there to there, I'm sorry, and 500 billion rand, that's a problem to me. Why are we having these spikes? Surely if we had 500 billion rands, 10 months later, we should have proper treatment protocols. We should have more than adequate facilities for people who get sick to be treated. See, I'm not going to fight and say there's no virus. There is a virus. What I'm going to say is, by now, the second wave shouldn't be peaking as high as the first wave because we know we've got protocols, we've got time, we've got lots of money. Yet, nothing appears to be happening. Our hospitals are overflowing. The reality is that most times our hospitals will overflow. The reality is that we've got access to all these drugs, but our government and our ministers don't appear to be giving them or advising the use of these different protocols. They are following a one-track program. This is negligence, in my opinion. We're also at a point now where we've got people who have been sitting and stressed and hiding away from public life for 10 months out of fear. And now maybe these people are getting sick, and our government has ramped this up into such a hype, into such profound panic that our GPs don't know what's going on. Some of our hospitals don't know what's going on. Our people don't know what's going on. So the chances, in my opinion, of misdiagnosis and incorrect treatment are running at an incredibly high rate. I also saw an article this morning, one of the papers, about a family that passed in Durban, and I looked through this, and as horrific as it was, all that rang in my mind was negligence. The poor young woman was sent into hospital, stuck in isolation, not given high flow oxygen. They put her on a drip. She passed. The mother passed. There was an operation that they were checking for lung damage because she was coughing too much. Now, surely from SARS-CoV-2 and the COVID illness, your lung damage is because your alveoli are so swollen up from the virus, and there might be blood clotting, and that's a breakdown of the wall in the virus. The virus and the secondary infections are destroying that. So it's not damage from coughing, it's damage from the bloody virus and illness. So again, mainstream media reporting, it is just all such sensationalist crap that is just driving a hype, and we're getting pulled down into a tunnel of fear that's just not helping anyone anymore because there's no rational critical thought. And that's why I want our president to fire the health minister and to fire the command council, and let's put in place a group of people who have new ideas and who have a better understanding and a more open mind to all these other treatments. Because if we have a fatality rate of 0.03% at our peak, surely, after learning all the lessons over a year and after global access to everything and all the information and all the treatments, that 0.03% should be coming down. That death rate should be coming down. I cannot see how it cannot be. If trial and error, as humans learn, that's how we survive. If we have A and A decimates, as you go along, we learn, and when we get to B, C, and D, we should be doing better. Throwing 500 billion rand, 10 months, and a wealth of treatment protocols that are available that appear to be ignored has got us with this massive surge now. I'm not doubting the numbers. People are dying. But is this a Wuhan flu or is this a government flu? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm calling them. Because right now, we shouldn't, in my opinion, we shouldn't be where we are. I want our government to sack that group, and I want our people to call on our government to sack that group. We, as the shareholders of this country, the citizens, have the right to demand this. You guys are playing with our lives. I want you to put into place other groups. There are a number of other scientists and organizations around the world who have got incredible science, who have got incredible results. And if we were putting in places like in my last podcast, if we were sending out little pamphlets to our clinics that's full of zinc and full of vitamin C's and full of vitamin D's and full of this ivermectin and all sorts of other things that are available. As a person starts coughing and getting sick, go down to your clinic, grab a 2-week supply of this, and take it. The advice should be get out into the open, spend as much time in the sun as possible because that's good for your immune system, fresh air, bit of exercise, running and playing on the beaches. Children should be running and playing and being free. All that stress will disappear out the body. The immune system will also relax. People should be spending time together, in my opinion, because social interaction calms humans down. Being locked away is not the answer to me. If you are sick, isolate yourself and take the treatment protocols that are available, because in 99.95 plus percentage of cases, you should be better. If you go through this protocol and then it still persists, then that tiny fraction of people who will naturally suffer because it's the underlying conditions, they can go to a hospital, and in these hospitals they can get the proper treatment, and they can go on the high flow oxygen and all these other treatments and drugs that seem to be ignored. They can be put on those and the steroids or whatever it might be, and then we can give them the best fighting chance to stay alive. But at the moment, no one knows what's going on. If you ask local GPs what the treatment protocols, if you walk in when you're feeling sick, they're going to send you for a COVID test, and then from there it's a downhill panic for the individual. In March and April, when I asked my GP, does she know what the treatment protocols are? Not a clue. I had to go via the DA, Jack Bloom, incredible guy in the DA locally in Gauteng, and I got a copy of what the protocols were for hospitals. And then when I asked around, no one seemed to know, because only the government hospitals seemed to know what the protocols were. And in that, even the chloroquine requirements were far different to what I had seen the DIA ruled and the other guys around the world saying this is what works. So again, I'm saying, what is going on here? We've moved from a SARS-CoV-2/COVID real crisis, real death rate, and now in December, I'm calling this the government flu because we don't know what's going on. It's like a bunch of people running around in circles, not know what's going on, and our people are suffering and dying and are terrified, and our economy is collapsing. So, yes, can we please have our government, our president, fire our health minister and the Corona Council and put them in and put someone else in place? Why don't we consider maybe go to pandemic data analysis? Those guys are a global organization. It's not just South African people. When I did research and I looked in on it and I've interacted with some of them, I've had a look, and there are guys from Canada and France and Australia across the world who had written all these incredible papers, and they seem all to be tied up together, working in one common umbrella. People who've got no financial interest in anything. I mean, if anything, these people and myself and my friends and anyone who says anything contrary to the government narrative, we get called all sorts of names. So why would people actually go out there and put themselves on a limb or go into jail? Their reputational damage, their work damage. I know guys who've done podcasts and they've lost contracts in business because what they say, the other guys are saying, no, we can't have that. Why would people deliberately do that? They're doing it because they care about the world, they care about humanity, they care about themselves and their families. And frankly, we just see something is wrong and something needs to be done. We need to have a fresh idea. Again, I'm a shareholder and I'm calling on my board of directors, the government, to fire the other half of directors and put a better team in to manage my risk going forward. This company called South Africa Incorporated is at the moment a balls up. And it's time to make proper action, not just talk. We need to sweep out the old and get new people in there who can do a proper job. So, no conspiracy theorists, none of that crap. I want results because I care and I worry about our people, our family members as well, who could be on a high risk group, who are on a high risk group. I don't want them going to hospital. If they get sick, we'll try to treat them at home because hospitals I'm concerned about. I have a mate who is as strong as me and is the same age as me, and we're healthy individuals. And when he got sick, I honestly believe if he had taken chloroquine and these treatment protocols back then, he wouldn't have ended up in intensive care. I don't think he would have been as sick as that. Surely he was, I know he was open or susceptible to the virus for whatever reason, but what was 3 or 4 weeks could have ended up being 3 or 4 days if early intervention was in place. This is what I'm getting at. We've got a problem, but I don't think we are managing it properly. We need to kick the old out and get something new in. Now, I've taken 20 minutes of your time. These are my opinions. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. I'm a concerned citizen, father, friend, and individual. All I ask is for everyone just to take a deep breath and start looking at all sides of the science, because the path we've chosen right now, the route we're traveling, is we're just sitting back, in my opinion, and we're just not going anywhere. There's a spike again. So that means something's not working. What we're doing isn't working. We need something new. Let's sack these guys and get someone new in, please. Think about this carefully. Please pass this message on and let's see if we can help make change here. Remember, this is our country, guys. We are all in this together. There's no such thing as separateness. This is a collective, and we need to work as a collective. Thank you.